when the market dumps hard, Bitcoin dominance rises, and so does Tether dominance. Now, this is confusing to beginners because so you have Bitcoin dominance, all right? And that is how much money is in Bitcoin compared to the rest of the market. Now, when things are bearish, people like to run into Tether, right? Because they're like, oh my gosh, like the market's going to dump. I want to save myself from getting hit. So I'm going to run into Tether. So when the market goes down hard, Tether dominance tends to rise. Agreed? What else tends to rise, though? Bitcoin dominance. Why? Well, there's other people that don't want to be in Tether at all. They'd rather be in Bitcoin, but they don't want to lose the money. Like if they're in Gearbox right now, right, let's just say, and they think the market's going to dump, Gearbox will probably lose 100% of its gains, right? But Bitcoin will probably only lose 5 to 6, maybe even 10%, 15%, like 25% seems to be the worst case. So people run back into Bitcoin as another way to harbor their gains, to save them from getting banged down. So when the market dumps hard, Bitcoin dominance rises, and so does Tether dominance. Now, this is confusing to beginners because I'm gonna show you something else. So understand this concept. When the market dips, Tether dominance goes up with Bitcoin dominance. Very important idea that I want you to understand, okay? This is like a key insight into the market that you really need to know. Now, with that being said, let's X this out. Now, when the market pumps hard, what happens? All right, the opposite happens. X that out. And what happens is Tether dominance dumps, right? Because people don't want to be in Tether. They want to sell their Tether for alts and Bitcoin, right? And what happens? Bitcoin dominance tends to pump. All right? Boom. All right? Boom. So this is the scenario you want to see. So before this happens, the Bitcoin stochastics on the daily will start to kind of curve, and the US Tether will start to dump. And so you should see this preemptively before it happens based on the charts, because the charts give us the probability of a move. Correct? Okay. So we can figure out when a move is going to happen by watching Bitcoin and Tether dominance in tandem, putting them together. Now, they're not always 100%, but if you backtest this theory, you can see it plays out 80 to 90% of the time. Or about, say, 80. It's a pretty strong indicator of the market. This is something I figured out all on my own just by going back and forth. So you could take macro assets, juxtapose them, and you can figure out really where the trickling of money is going to go based on the energetic volume. You know, these are momentum. They're taking you how much energy is coming into the market. That's momentum. If this is telling you there's momentum coming into the Bitcoin move, and then again, once you make a flag outside of a big breakout, you broke out of this ascending triangle and you made a flag. My first mentor, you know, the easiest thing he taught me at the very beginning of trading was, hey, after you break out of a bigger pattern and you make a smaller flag right outside of the trend, there's a very likelihood that flag will pump to the upside. So this is why you want to look at Bitcoin dominance and Tether dominance. Tether dominance it has bearish div right here because that swings up. This swings kind of flat right here, or almost, you know, and then you can see that it's at a resistance. Previous support is resistance. We could actually bring this down a touch. Bounce, bounce, resistance. And, you know, I see the moving averages are tight. I get it, but this could kind of get closer. So, it may make a cup and handle and then boom out. But this is telling me that the daily wants to start to dump to the downside. Now, this could actually curve down too, and they could both start to dump, and we could get a market pullback. But if you start to see Bitcoin dominance hold 55, while the US Tether dominance starts to drop down, it's very likely we're going to get a move. And if we get a move that way, what's going to happen? It's going to be a move for Bitcoin. So we can use this key little strategy, and I never see anybody talk about it as much as I do. I'm not the only guy that talks about Tether dominance, but I bring it up way more than most people, and it's part of my trading strategy. We bring it up, we talk about it all the time.